Why would a buyer want to use a subject to sale for an offer? What is a subject to sale? Subject to sale means, hey, I want to buy this house, I'm going to write an offer, but in order for me to buy that house, I have to sell my house first. Now, there is a thing called subject to closing and obtaining proceeds. That just means that I already have an offer accepted on my house. I just need to make sure it closes so I can use those funds to buy the next place. Now, why would a buyer come to the table with a subject to sale offer? Well, they want to lock that house in. They want to make sure that, hey, we got this house in place in order for us to sell our home. Many times a buyer is going to call us and they're going to say, hey, look, we need to sell our home, but we don't want to sell our home unless we can find a home. So they'll go find a home, write a subject to sale offer, and then try and sell their house before someone else comes in and buys this house. Is it a good option for a buyer? Not the best. You don't have the most negotiating power. But sometimes it's peace of mind. Sometimes it's peace of mind saying, I know I got the house that I want, and it gives them the confidence to put their house on the market and sell it. Typically there's a bump period. So you say we want 24-hour notice. That means we got the first right of refusal for the first 24 hours. Sometimes someone will do that subject to sale, even though they don't have to sell their home to buy, but they'll do that because they don't want to have two mortgages. But if at the end of the day, they had to close on this house without this one being sold, they could do it and they would do it. So that is a good option for a subject to sale. But I say as a buyer, you're writing a subject to sale offer for peace of mind. And I say that because if you didn't have peace of mind, if you didn't really care about that, then what you would do is you would list your home and you would sell it. Because when you go to the next home to buy, your negotiating power is much greater if you already have an offer on this home. So you might be able to get it for $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 less, or you might be able to get better terms if you didn't have the actual subject to sale on your offer. Subject to obtaining proceeds is a much stronger negotiating piece than just subject to sale. So as a buyer, if you don't really care, you're not too stressed out, you're like, hey, whatever happens, happens, then I'd say list your house, get an offer on it, knowing that house is still available right there. Your risk is that that house sells and you don't even have that bump period. You don't have that 24-hour first right of refusal on it. When it gets an offer accepted, it's gone. So that's your risk as a buyer, but if you want a stronger negotiating strength, then you want to make sure your house is under contract before you write that offer. That's the way to do that. But if you just want peace of mind, you want to know, hey, I got that house in my pocket, then absolutely write your subject to sale offer. I understand the peace of mind thing. It is a big deal, but that is one way to do it. Now, why would a seller look at a subject to sale offer and say, nah, we're not going to take that? One of the reasons, you could tie it up, first right of refusal for 24 hours. If we get an offer, we want to be able to accept that offer and know we have a deal. But if you already have your subject to sale offer bird in the hand and someone else brings an offer to the table, well, now you know for sure you got it sold either way, because either they're going to perform or these guys are going to perform, one or the other. So in my mind, taking a subject to sale offer is not a bad deal on a house because it locks it in at a certain price. You know you've got it sold right here. If there isn't any more offers, you can wait for them to sell their house, or if another one comes in, you're going to say, hey, we already have an offer in hand, so if you're going to come to the table, it needs to be at least as good as that one if we're going to accept it. That way, we're not taking a hit. So as a seller, I feel like as long as your bump period's not too long, like 2 days or something like that, where you're not going to scare buyers away, go ahead, accept a subject to sale offer, but just make sure you got that bump period lower. Sometimes we do a 6-hour or 12-hour. At the end of the day, if that seller or that buyer that has a subject to sale offer on the house knows they can perform, they know it when they write the offer. So when we give them their notice, hey, you got 6 hours to perform, they know they're already ready, they're going to perform. So it doesn't matter if they have 6, 12, or 24 hours. Shorten that window a little bit if you're accepting a subject to sale offer. That's my advice on subject to sale. That's what I know about them. Take it as you will, but if you're a buyer and you're not completely tied to the drama behind buying a house, I'd say just sell your house, take that risk, and get a better deal on the house.